Welcome to Engage. So over here I can join a session. This is where a student would join in a session that is already going or is planning to going. Here I would be as an instructor. I would start a session. We can take a look at the different types of content here. So this is where we can post some lessons, or some lessons would be available for the students to be able to look through. There are several pages of lessons, or they can just take a look. Some of these are free lessons. I'm not sure which ones are free or not. Experiences. You can go on different tours. You can see there are lots of these in here. Different virtual reality experiences that they can sit in and experience. Some of these are 360 video. You can see this is YouTube 360 video that they launch, and the 360 video launcher in the theater. Some of these are more detailed lessons in three-dimensional, where they have things kind of popping up around you, which is pretty amazing. And we can take a look at one of these. This is just one experience we're going to just take a quick look at that can be created by instructors. So if an instructor would like to, they can sit in, they can use the computer to create an entire experience. And then this one, for example, is taking place in the lecture hall here. So I can be surrounded by a whole bunch of other people, all of us having the same experience. Since I haven't loaded this one before, it takes a little bit to load. But while it's loading, we can take a look at the things I have here. I have my tablet that I can interact with, which is really neat. Right here, there I am, and the date. And you can see here that my controller is just a touch. So I can just touch these different things with the controller, and then it's going to make them work. Here, I can move myself. I'm using my left cursor here. I'll put the tablet away, and the movement buttons that you can see here, I can move myself left and right. So there we go, moving right. Doing this kind of movement ends up making me a little bit nauseous, but might work for, sometimes works maybe a little bit better for some things rather than other things. And then we can teleport, which might work a little bit better, which is kind of turning. Oh, we have some other people joining us today while we have this experience. So I can sit down here. If I wanted to sit in a chair, I could bring a chair in. So I'll just spend a moment in here. But this is also, so you can see this is a pre-created experience. And then an instructor would have their avatar up front, being able to get.
Of all the amazing things about the universe, I think two stand above all the rest. One of them is that we know so much about the universe, but another is that there's even more that we don't know. And what I want to focus on for this lecture is the inexplicable universe from a time gone by that is now explained.
So I'm spending a moment in here because you'll see that he's going to use some of the assets in
scientific mystery.
But what I wanted to say is that this could be a typical classroom used by an instructor.
Before Galileo,
up here we have the blackboard, or it usually ends up acting as a whiteboard. But then there's the space up front that can be used to manipulate different assets. So the groups of people can sit up here. You can see now he's using these assets.
There's someone writhing on the ground, your best friend,
just
frothing at the mouth.
Certain things that he's talking
if you're driven by Christian theology, your first thought is the person is possessed by the devil. That's the natural explanation.
Which is really neat because this is all individual. So every single person that's watching this is going to have this experience that we're seeing right now. So it's not happening to another person over there. It's happening to every person. So we can look around.
One damp, cool morning, and you'll find this circle of mushrooms. No one knew how they got there. You were there the day before. There was no trace of mushrooms. And now there's a perfect circle of them. These were known as fairy circles. And people imagined sort of woodland nymphs, woodland fairies coming to have a jamboree, and these were their chairs. Little fairies, of course. These were their chairs where they celebrated whatever were their rituals of the night. We would later learn that, of course, mushrooms they're not solo organic entities. They're, in fact,
So pretty neat.
One spore
I
can
think a
generate
lot better
many,
than just
many
a
mushrooms. And if a
PowerPoint
spore
lecture
drops
when
in
we
one
can really
spot,
kind of
it can
accentuate what we're saying
work its way out
in this
and
kind of
get ready for
really
just when the
immersive
conditions are
way
right,
and really
just the right
kind of
temperature,
bring it to
just the right
life.
humidity. And then they all pop up,
So again, I'm
equidistant
going to
from where
open up
that
what I've
spore
opened up as my
first
tablet
dropped.
here. We can
So
take a look at different
explanations came
locations or different
later to
content here.
these phenomena.
Let's just go to different
And of
locations. You
course,
can
we
see
know
that we can have
epilepsy
meetings.
is the result
Maybe I
of
should
random
provide it
firing
here.
of the brain, uncontrolled firing, that leaves you helpless in the presence of a brain gone
We're going to exit
awry.
this session so that we don't have Mr. deGrasse Tyson speaking over us here. But so we could start a session, and if we start a session, this is exactly what I was just bringing up with the tablet here, is that we can have it in that lecture hall, in a meeting room, in a 360 video room where the video is all around you, Dino Beach. So there are lots of different options of places to have these experiences, or to sit and to talk. Maybe lecture would be, it might be a little bit more comfortable, or it might make more sense to have it in a hospital recovery room. Then you can talk about the different things in the hospital room, or just to have it somewhere out that's really neat. Maybe the Apollo moon landing site, so everybody can kind of take a round, everybody can focus on what we're doing, and then we can do something else and talk about it, or in the ocean, or somewhere else. And so we can pick one of these. How about we go back, and how about we do pick the Apollo moon landing site? And for now, it's just going to be me, but I could say let others, and then we could create an event, and it would be set, and we can add a password to it so that only people that have this specific password can enter. So, anybody using this program, Engage, which is currently a free program for the trial portion, can't just join into the classroom. So then we're going to update the location, because I haven't loaded this before. So the first time these things, we're moving to these things, it's going to take a little bit of time for it to load. And then after that, it's very, very quick. So if we meet each week at the same location, then it would be very, very quick for people to join in. So even if they're running in a little bit late, or right on time, hopefully it wouldn't take too long. And I would assume that the first lecture period, or the first meeting, would be really to kind of work some of these bugs out, for people to realize it does take a couple minutes when they first load in. And then that's fine, because because then after that, it's not going to take that long. So here we are. I have my spacesuit on now, because of course we're on the moon. So a spacesuit is required. I can have my tablet again. I can move. I can teleport. So that's turning left and right, and then moving. I'm going to move this way toward our lander here, which is really neat, because we can look up close here and kind of see what's happening, what's going on. But we can just have our lecture, everybody can sit here and can be talking in a big open space, or wherever we'd like to talk. And again, then we have our tablet. And then here, this is where we can do things like have notes. This right here. This is a tester note. This is something that I was kind of working on when I was checking this out before. We can edit this. I can add it in here. You can bring up the keyboard and type using the keyboard. Take different notes, so that as we're in the classroom, the students or each individual person has their own tablet, and you don't see other people's tablets unless you share them on purpose. So then I would have my tablet here. We'll save the note. You can turn the mic on and turn the mic off. So when people are talking, you can turn that on and off. My understanding is also the instructor can have everybody's mic turned off, and then turn certain people's mics on, so that not everybody's talking at the same time. IFX, this is where we can add some of these things in. So if I wanted to, let's say, add an elephant, just because I happen to see an elephant. Again, it's taking a little bit of time, but so here's my elephant. I can load an elephant in, and we can all talk about the elephant. I don't know why we would talk about an elephant, but I know that there are anatomy and physiology items in here. But there are lots, as you can see down here, many, many, many pages. They have thousands of different things here. I can, let's see. Oh, chemistry. Let's check out chemistry here. So an acid ball or a plasma ball. Let's take a look at some of these different things. They've added lots and lots of effects, IFX, or assets to this. So we can add some alpha and beta particles here. Or maybe not. Oh, there they are. Oh, here we go. They're kind of floating around us. So anyway, all of these things can be manipulated. I can move closer to this, and I can make it so that he's turned and bigger and smaller, and I can place lots of different things in here all at the same time. Video screens, effects. So maybe we want to go to the lecture hall location. Oh, there's some of our particles. That's pretty fantastic. Yes. So here we are again in the lecture hall. I can be sitting down in the seat. I can set down my chair in my room here so that I can just sit down and have that experience. Or I can walk down here. And then when I'm down here, I can use, you can see that this changed into colors, where I can then draw like a regular whiteboard here, and we can be talking about different things, and I can be writing those things up here. I don't know what these things are. Now it's a smiley face. And then we have the different colors. You can see the different colors here. Change it to green, which is nice. It's on the controller there. Little tongue. I don't know why they're red and green. We need some blue here. Some blue. So you can use that as a whiteboard as you normally would. Here's some delete. Oh, now I'm adding some more there. Okay. So then we can have media. We can take a look at the different media. So I can load media. I can share my desktop. So what I have open on my computer right now, I can have, or I can go directly to a website. So I can go to internet browser and type in the website, or I can go to YouTube directly and then open up a YouTube video. Search the YouTube video here, go to a website, search that URL here, or I can have my own media. So I can have stuff that I have already uploaded, so I don't have to go to YouTube and type in the URL and wait for it to load and things like that. I can have already uploaded it here, and then once we get to that point, I can have it running here, and it'll run up on that really large screen up there. Or as you saw, I can share my desktop as well, and then I can get into the desktop, maybe bring up a PowerPoint if I need to. And whatever that may be. So here you can create quizzes, you can deliver the quizzes to students, you can test them, you can edit them here, or you can edit on the computer. Again, here's the notes. And then we can manage here. Here's where we have the current users. So everybody would be listed here with their avatars, and then if somebody raises their hand, then you can unmute that person, and then they can say what they'd like to say, and then you can mute them again so that the rest of the students aren't talking, which I think is a pretty great feature, not only because then everybody's not talking over each other, but then also we can really stop and hear the person because other people really aren't talking. And then we can enable all the assets and disable them all so that we can stop, listen to the person that's asking the questions, and then we can answer, answer the question. So those would all be listed here, and you can manipulate those individually. And that's something that the administrator can do, and the students cannot do. So then recording, so we can record everything that's happening, which I think is a good feature because you can have a class, you can be recording the whole thing, and then you can post it later so that students can come in, it's a VR recording, and then if they missed it, or if they just want to go through it again, then it's available to them. There's our media, there's our IFX, the different content here again, it's the same thing we saw in the main menu, the experiences, the lessons, different recordings we have, or different activities. I'm not going to load this up, but in this activity, these are some pretty neat ones. Maybe I can try to load up the skeleton. If you can put the skeleton together in this one, which is kind of fun, but there's an experience, an entire simulation where you are a nurse and you can engage the environment, you have to do things correctly and in the right timing and pick up the right thing, and there are questions that are being asked and things like that. So it can really be immersive. That kind of situation, or that is more in depth and in detail, and something that can be worked with the company. But this here, this is something that's just in here for fun. So then you can piece it together, and it says what it is. There's the spine. Let's grab the skull. There we go. So we've got our skull here. Put the skull up there. There's our rib cage. So this is just really, really basic. Just kind of a little fun little thing for people to to work on, not really specific for anatomy and physiology, unless, of course, we can assign this for a moment, just to get the basics down. Of course, I need to know this in more detail, but so that's fun. And actually, maybe I should finish it up, because once you finish it up, he dances a little jig, which is fun. So, oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Finish this guy up here. All right, here we go. There we go. Yay, we got it. All right, all right. All right, so that's fun. And there are different other experiences here, or activities here that you can do, engine assembly, etc. Of course, none of these really apply to us, except for maybe the skeleton. So that's really what we have here in Engage. I really feel like this is a good spot for kind of basic classroom. So meeting once a week in this environment in the classroom, utilizing the whiteboard, having, a PowerPoint, or, I don't typically use PowerPoints, but having that available for images that I can put up there, YouTube videos of physiology movements, things like that, and then have the ability to have the whiteboard here, and then recording the entire thing. And then the second class period of the week, I would think, would be more of the laboratory, which would be with the 3D Organon, and also with the U by ShareCare, the ShareCare VR, which is also a really good program, but is not multi-user, but is single-user and can be assigned as homework. Or one of the things that I didn't show you, actually, was the 360 space. If I were to, or if an instructor were to make a video, either a VR video or a 360 video, then they could load it into Engage and then be in this 360 viewing room. And then all of the students could be in here. So if I made a ShareCare VR or a U by ShareCare video of going through the anatomy and physiology of one of the organs that they have there, I can create that video and then I can upload it here. And then I can be in here with the students, all of us in this theater space, watching this video happen, which I should probably put one on while we're talking, just so we have something. How about the elephants? That's a fun one. So we can all watch the video all together, and we can be talking about it, especially if it's a video that I haven't put any audio in. And then at the same time, it can be assigned as homework. So we can assign it. I don't know why I'm up so high here. But it can be assigned as homework, and it's a little bit more three-dimensional here, and a little bit more engaging than just watching a YouTube video, because you can see I can look around here, I can see the environment. I have these elephants coming toward me. I can see the grass moving all around me and things like that. So one of these videos could be assigned to where the students have to watch the particular video and then take the quiz, because remember, there are quizzes in Engage as well. So maybe watch the video, then they have to take the quiz on the video that they've watched in this 360 room for things that are not multi-user in virtual reality. So again, everybody can be standing in here. We can all actually see each other and engage with each other in this environment, or this can be an individual user experience. And then, of course, it could be both. Then they can come back and everything can be loaded and engaged. They can come back and check it out for use at a later time. So here's our elephant friend, which is fun, very, very engaging. All right. All right, and then also, last but not least, here's where you create and edit all of these things, and then events. You can actually set up events so that people can see that on their on their calendar. So when they sign in, they'll have things that they need to attend or are interested. Here, instructor would have all of the events that they're hosting, create an event here so that people can log in and everybody meets at the event. No live sessions in progress. So. All right, so that is the Engage program that I think it would be very useful for VR classroom.